Let's tank Chronomatic Anomaly in the nighthold on Mythic difficulty. Now this fight is very similar to the Heroic Encounter. The first major big difference you'll notice about the fight is that 2 adds spawn instead of just the 1. So they'll spawn on the left and on the right of the boss. Apart from that, everything just hits a lot harder. Now, basic strategy for this, how our guild handled it, was that we pretty much, for the left ad, we sent 1 tank, which was myself, a prop paladin, and a healer who could interrupt, so a resto shaman. To the left ad and to the right, we sent everyone else and the boss. On the pull, you want the tank going solo to take the boss, and then the other tank will have the boss when he takes it on top of the ad. Now, for the first ad, we bloodlusted on the pull, so we stayed on the boss for the whole of the lust and cleaved down the first ad. Now, you need to make sure that the first ad is dead by the 5th power overwhelming stack, and then once it dies, the tank obviously picks up the orb and interrupts the boss. You keep the boss there until the little ads are killed, making sure that you're interrupting all the casts. Once the little ads are dead, you then slowly walk the boss back to the next ad, and you want to get the boss on top of the second ad all the way on the left before he starts channeling his next power overwhelming, so that you can also be cleaving from the ad onto the boss, because if the boss is away, you're going to lose some damage this way, and you want to be killing this boss as quick as possible. Now, for every ad here and out, we just prioritize the ad and then cleave the little ads down off the boss and interrupt it straight away. You want to do this for every ad from here on out, just because you've pretty much used all your healing cooldowns for the first power overwhelming, and they probably won't be back up till the 3rd set of ads. There's a few things to note about this 3rd set of ads as well. The first thing is, when they come up, you're going to be fighting them in slow phase, so you need to be getting your DPS to second pot them just to be able to kill it before power overwhelming comes out, because at this point your rate is going to be pretty low, and you need to be able to kill this set of ads in a pretty quick manner, because as soon as these 2 set of ads are dead, the next set are going to be spawning. Now, on this 4th set, we only decided to kill the right one and then burn the boss just to finish him off and not go to the last ad and just have the last ad interrupted. Now, this all depends on where you are with damage on the boss. You could have already killed him at this point, or you could be like us and be a bit behind on damage, so you need to do that extra ad. And that's pretty much everything you need to look out for in this fight as a general tactic for the fight. And next I'm just going to go over a few of the tanking things you need to keep an eye on. So the main tanking ability of this fight is Chronometric Particles. And what this does is each application inflicts 77,000 arcane damage to the victim every 2 seconds. If the victim ever has more than 9 applications of Chronomatic Particles, a chronometric overload occurs. And all this does is the victim explodes with energy, inflicting 1 million damage to all players. The victim perishes in the process. So basically, never go to 10 stacks of the debuff, or you're pretty much going to wipe the raid. Now, the rate at which this debuff ticks depends on the phase you're in. So if you're in slow phase, it'll tick a lot slower. If you're in fast phase, it's going to tick a lot quicker. The timer on the debuff for how long it lasts also is affected by the slow phase. So say you get the application applied to you in the slow phase, the debuff say will last 2 minutes. In the fast phase, it'll last roughly 30 seconds. So if you're going from slow to fast phase and you have a stack of this debuff, make sure you take a hit from the boss to get a stack from the fast phase, just to speed up the slow timer and make it go into the fast timer phase. Also, if you're tanking the boss and say you're at 5 stacks, make sure you're rotating cooldowns, especially if he's in the fast phase, because you're going to be taking an extreme amount of damage and healers normally can't keep up. So just make sure you're prepared for that. The last thing to mention about this ability is the taunt swapping for it. So the first taunt swap is obviously when the tanks split off. So you have your first tank who's going to the left go to the left, and then the other tank will taunt to pull the boss to the right. And then when you go back with the boss, the other tank can range taunt if the boss needs to get in position quicker, or the other tank, say, is at like 8 stacks. You don't really want him going to 9 stacks, especially going from slow to fast, because if that happens, you won't be able to get his debuff off him to take another application in the fast phase. So just be aware of how many stacks each tank has and play around with it and work out your taunting as you do pulls on this boss. But as I said, the best time is switching between killing the right ad to left ad, and if the other tank has a slow debuff, just let him taunt back in the normal or fast phase just to drop the timer on the debuff so it expires a little bit quicker. Apart from that, the only other tank kind of mechanic that there is off the ads that spawn. They actually do an ability that will hit the person with the highest threat on them. called Chronomate, and all this does is it strikes the target for arcane damage. Not sure how hard, but it hits pretty hard, so just make sure you have like aggro on the ad, because this will one-shot your DPS a lot of the time, especially with the other abilities going out. And that's pretty much all for the mythic mechanics on Chronomatic Anomaly. I hope this helps you get the kill, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more guides.